Doug MPA back with another video. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on the way in. I'd really appreciate it. It shows that you support me and the content on this channel. Male leadership in society and in the workplace has been a very interesting subject the last couple of years. It seems to be painted that everything bad in society is because of male leadership and everything bad in the workplace is because of male leadership. And that the answer would be more females in positions of authority. That goes in government, that goes in corporations, that goes in the classroom, law enforcement. Now, I would never say anything bad about female leadership. I think maybe a balance of both would be good. But as we're putting more emphasis on female leadership, you're going to see articles like this one coming up. This is in an independent magazine called An Injustice. It's called Genuine Reasons Why Some Women Don't Want Female Bosses. And in the next 10, 15 years, you're going to see a lot of this type of stuff. Although I don't know why writing articles about this is new. If you ask the majority of your female friends if they would rather have a male boss or a female boss, I think a lot of your friends, if they were honest, that were women, they'd say that they'd rather have a male boss. And that's kind of what the study shows. In general, I'll just say it, a lot of women can't stand each other unless they're personal friends, but in a professional and academic setting, once again, women really can't stand each other. So let's get into this article. It was published on January 31st, 2022. Genuine reasons why some women don't want female bosses and subtle reasons why the cycle of professional sisterhood isn't what it should be. It starts, the decision of women to fight for their rightful positions at the table by making giant strides in every industry is undoubtedly laudable. However, this may have come with some unique set of challenges. While the culture of women empowerment has become a daily mantra that helps women feel more secure and included, it is sad to see that some women are the bane of other women in the workplace. With the rise of female bosses, there are consistent reports of rivalry, unnecessary competition, condescending comments, and harsh methods of correction. This article asks, can a woman truly be another woman's worst enemy when it comes to professional advancement? I would say yes, and I've seen many instances of it in my time in the workplace, and I'm a man, so I can only imagine if you ask your female friends and coworkers. The article continues, as Rachel Reynosa puts it, the corporate world is spawning its own adult versions of the stereotypical mean girls who thrive at the top of the high school food chain. The stereotypical mean girls in corporate America. Ouch. The article continues, prevailing statistics and preferences. Statistics from the Workplace Bullying Institute have shown that at least 80% of the time, women bully other women while at work. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? 80% of the time, women bully other women while at work. It continues, a 2013 Gallup study further revealed that while male and female genders showed their preference for a male boss, more women exhibited this preference than men. Do you hear that? This was at a ratio of 39% of women who preferred male leadership in comparison to 26% for men. In another interview with men and women who worked in different financial companies, both sexes admitted that while male bosses were known to be more jovial and interactive, the female bosses didn't allow their relationships with other colleagues to be so open. It continues, indeed, the recent answers to a Quora question have disclosed various reasons why male bosses have gained more preference as opposed to the idea of having a female boss. The question posed was, would you prefer to work for a female boss or a male boss? The responses depicted a greater preference for male bosses, and amongst the reasons were that they are. Now, everyone watching this video, I want you to follow along and then put in the comments if you agree with any of these points. And if you have any stories that could back up these points, please share them below. I read all the comments, and the comment sections in my video are great because it kind of feels like we're sitting around a table and talking about these issues. Number one, more receptive towards new ideas and allow execution with minimal interference. Now, this is why you would prefer a male boss. Number two, a lot nicer and less emotional. 3, have less drama and are less jealous of their better-looking counterparts. 4, recognize and applaud commitment and dedication. 5, were more direct to deal with and willing to wade into disagreements among subordinates. What do you think of those? I think the most typical one would be have less drama and are less jealous of their better looking counterparts. Because I mean, guys, we don't see a guy's looks as a threat like women do. It continues, although some other replies showed no preference for either gender, this group of people indicated that they were more concerned about individual leaders regardless of gender. Over the years, various theories have emanated seeking to explain why some female bosses act the way they do. Some of these theories are explained below. So they talk about the queen bee syndrome, number one. The queen bee syndrome was a nuance coined by researchers University of Michigan in the 1970s during their work on impact of women's movement in the workplace. According to these researchers, women who thrive in male-dominated workplaces were most likely to oppose the rise of other women. You see that? And this is in the 70s. So it's only gotten worse now. The queen bee syndrome commonly happens when women in power treat subordinate female colleagues less fairly than their male colleagues. The alpha female tendencies and the consistent desire to fight off potential competitors are classic attributes of many female bosses. Typical queen bees would say, I figured it out, so should you. This set of female bosses are too busy and engaged to take time out to mentor or support the younger ones. And I don't really see that as a problem because I don't think anyone should really be expected to take time out of their career to mentor anyone. That's just me. If they do, that's good, but you shouldn't have to do it. It says, sadly, the women leaders that exhibit this trait are not aware of the implicit bias within them. I would argue they are. I would argue that many of them know that they're being a queen bee and they kind of revel in it. And it says, over the years, the queen bee syndrome has made it more hectic for more women to work with female bosses. Indeed, there have been reported incidents of job sabotage, bullying, verbal abuse by women working with women. So what's that have to do with male leadership and patriarchy? I want you to keep that in mind because one of the things I want you to consider this article is, once again, the idea of male leadership in society and in the workplace is they use terms like patriarchy, the P word, to just call it all toxic. And okay, I would ask you, if you don't like male leadership, but then a lot of women don't like female leadership either, what are we going to do now? So there's the patriarchy and you don't like male leadership, but then you don't want to work for a woman either. Riddle me that. Number two, pit bull in a skirt theory. This approach depicts women bosses as being more aggressive and resolute because of their resolve to stay on top. Some of these female leaders believe that by taking up this fierce persona, they will gain more respect from colleagues and other co-workers. Apart from showing how dodged female bosses can be, this approach seems to work better in helping them move further in their careers. And a Forbes report reports that once women get ahead, they tend to put on a resilient front and more masculine tendencies so that they could command more respect from their coworkers. I would argue that these masculine tendencies are required to get ahead, especially in corporate America. So they've just had to take on tendencies where they can survive and thrive in an environment filled with others who have these tendencies. The article continues, the truth is a woman in a high position may feel pressure to be assertive and tough as her male counterparts so that no one leverages on her feminine nature as a ground for disrespect. If you want to swim in the pool with the sharks, you got to be a shark. We all know that. Number three, stereotypical reactions and gender expectations. Some studies have shown that people tend to react negatively to criticism when it comes from a female boss. The role of gender expectations of management styles was identified as a prevalent factor that drove this reaction from people. The study further revealed that criticism from a female boss was bound to make employees experience less job satisfaction than if it was from a man. Behavioral expectations and preconceived notions have been indicated as reasons why there's low preference for female bosses. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. I take all criticism the same as long as it's direct and honest. I don't even think that the positive, negative, positive approach that they're trying to push nowadays, where you say something positive about the person, then you say something negative, and then you follow up to make their feeling. I don't even believe in that. Just tell me how it is, and also let me know about that in the comments. How do you like to receive criticism, and do you have a different feeling about it when it comes from a man or a woman? The article continues. In another Facebook survey, the following reasons were given when people were asked why they preferred not to work with female bosses. We're going to go through these. If she has a bad day, you're going to have a bad day too. I've heard that before. They can't balance things perfectly without having issues. They are too power driven. They kind of addressed that earlier in the article. They make 95% emotional decisions and 5% logical ones. They strive hard to succeed in what is largely perceived to be a man's world. They bring home aggression to work. They are difficult and uptight. So, what is the way forward? Catherine Smith suggests that clarity, collaboration, and proper management styles are durable solutions that can help reduce incidents of women bullying women at work. Through clarity, individual roles can be properly defined so that everyone will know what is expected of them. Truly, when there's coherence, there will be less friction, blah, blah, blah. It says, lastly, more leaders need to be aware that their colleagues are co-workers, not kids. The because I said so management style may not work effectively because it undermines people rather than motivating them. Oh, and she also says, with collaboration, also women can stop seeing one another as threats, so there will be less tension at work. Shared ideas, better engagement, and cooperation will certainly guarantee productivity. I don't see that happening in my lifetime. I think women will always see each other as a threat, and that's women will see women above them, women side by side with them, and women below them as a threat. And I think this is going to persist and continue. Final thoughts. While some people have wonderful experiences working with female bosses, and this may not be the case for everyone, ultimately a larger problem is the fact that many women don't speak up because they're afraid that their complaints may be wrongly perceived by the larger feminine society. Yeah, because the sisterhood is strong. However, we should bear in mind that denial would only aggravate the current situation and water down the effects of the popularly acclaimed women supporting women dogma. I said it earlier in the video, I'll say it again. Women really can't stand each other unless they're close personal friends. And even then, they'll talk trash behind each other's back and say dishonest things. So in the next 10, 15 years, you're going to see a lot of these articles coming out. And I'm hoping that we can dispel this female leadership will just be inherently better than male leadership. They're problematic male supervisors, problematic female supervisors, but the narrative is only going one way in 2023. Let me know what you think. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I will catch you on the next one.